Darcy's also like, she doesn't like, she wants people to like, okay, but she don't want everybody being like,
Exactly.
are you okay? Because we've all been there and gone through that. Like, it just, we appreciate, you know, the empathy, but you make it harder when you're just constantly having.
I know exactly what you're doing
Yeah.
because of the fiance.
Total side note.
No.
Look at this bigger.
Oh, it's not, you're on.
Ready? All right, 7 o'clock, let's go ahead and get started. All right, first item of business is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call?
Ms. Knable? Ms. Dobson?
Here.
Mr. Earhart?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell?
Here.
Mr. Aravalo?
Here.
Ms. Dominic? Mr. Sly? Ms. Squire? Mr. Morse?
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Very good, thank you very much. All right, agenda? Do we have any changes to the agenda? No? All right. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0-0. All right, citizen participation. I didn't see anybody signed up back there when I walked in.
It's on now.
All right, so. Okay, then we'll continue on. Formal commission action. Item number 1, approval of minutes from the October 3rd, 2024 meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the October 3rd meeting. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Abstain.
Motion carries 6-0-1. All right, preliminary, item number 2, preliminary plat PP 24-2, Oak Woods replat. Ready?
Good evening. So this is a preliminary plat for duplexes. It was a RP1, then it was rezoned last meeting by you guys. The total plat, preliminary plat that was proposed has 163 total lots, and the one that from 2022 contains 191 lots. Now, 28 lot difference, but there are 72 of them that have now changed zoning for the R2. So it ends up a plus door count, let's say, of 41. So even though the lots, preliminary plat did go down, there are some more doors on this. As you can see, that's the revisions of it is the area that was rezoned to R2. And I think that's about it. We have all the information on it. The very last page, the blue outlines the new R2. There we go. Rezoning area of the lots. So the developer had shown this at the rezoning, and the questions stem mostly from second entrance and exit out of there, which now just west of the aquatic center, they have started that subdivision that will allow for another one in. And then there were a lot of people that had talked about, you know, not being able to get through there and parking and all. So ourselves, police, public works, as well as members of the council, of the governing body, it was the city council members, have driven it multiple days. There was a few cars parked in the evenings, but really with the construction now slowing down there. What happened when you first pulled in there, there were 4 or 5 houses being built. And every morning there were vans, construction vehicles there. That's also down. We did not have any problems at all, morning, evening, early mornings, late evening, getting up and down the streets. So, now they still are studying whether they would like to take some of the streets in town. They're trying to do an overview and put parking, no parking one side. So that is continuing, but we've monitored this and really have not ran across any big problems since those 5 or 6 houses at the beginning are completed. All right, do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
Did staff say, or whoever drove it, say like what time of day that they went?
We've been there from 4 a.m. through every time up to 10.
Including like when school's out, things like that?
Yeah, they really have. It's been a concerted effort with the police department, public works, and traffic engineer and ourselves,
Okay.
so.
Has there been any more discussion about Sycamore Street?
Sycamore Street.
That's the aquatic center.
It's the aquatic center.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to get tied in, yes.
What about 217th? Because that's already platted.
That will be the tie-in, yes.
Well, that one goes to Madison. That one's further north.
Oh, you mean coming up through there?
Yeah, kind of in the middle. It goes east and west. It's not there today, but it's platted already.
Yes.
So will there, or do you think there will not be a construction?
Comes to Madison, that's what I'm getting at. That subdivision started.
Okay.
They have started that subdivision up through there.
Gotcha.
And as far as the construction entrance, we're talking to the group that is developing that. And we haven't made any arrangements yet on a construction entrance.
But if they've already started, it seems like it would be more possible to have one sooner than later.
Well, let me put it this way. If your neighbor was building a house behind you and, utilization of your property, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying it won't happen. And I think that once we get through the sewer construction and start the storm construction and things, I think it'll level off a little more where we can utilize that as the construction entrance into there. We'll see. If nothing else, we went down and looked at Sycamore that goes by the aquatic center and possibly doing something in there as a temporary construction easement across there, yes. Because they did go down and look, and they're trying to start to see what the cost is nowadays to construct that street.
That would almost seem to be better in some ways because
It would be.
217th still comes right through the middle.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And that's why we took a look at it, so. And it really shouldn't be that hard. And the subdivision that started now, right there by the aquatic center, they were granted a little bit of use right next to the creek that the city owns for a second settling basin. So we don't think that there'll be too much problem in the governing body going on with that.
Any other questions for Mr. Burton?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Concern?
Well, it just seems to me that some of the issues that were brought up and we discussed are slowly being resolved, so I don't have a problem.
I think the majority of the community's concerns were traffic related and, even now, but then also the concern for the construction traffic. But it sounds like the existing traffic is still being studied and it doesn't seem to be maybe as big of an issue as it was when those homes near the entrance were being built. And then it also sounds like there is a pathway to a construction entrance ultimately. So that would you know, that would also obviously be very helpful. It sounds like the city's watching it now, so I imagine when construction begins, they'll keep an eye on it. And if it gets bad, maybe they can accelerate the development of the construction entrance along Sycamore.
Yeah, they're not dragging their feet. They are really truly working on culvert sizing to go through there and just put a temporary, one of the biggest things is who tears it back out.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get them to tear it out.
Move to approve PP -24-2 for Oakwood subdivision.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve PP 24-2. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. All right. Item number 3, final plat FP 24-5 for Avondale Meadows, second plat.
Thank you. So this is the second, final plat for Avondale Meadows, coming off of 215th Street. The first plat, is being constructed, and I'm not sure, what phase are you in that?
We're in phase one with.
But I mean, with the streets,
Getting ready.
streets in. Okay, okay, so the streets are being worked on right now. Sewer is, I believe, all but in. And with the demand of housing, obviously Wiswells and all around in our area, they felt that they should go ahead and get the second plat in and get started on the construction improvement designs. It follows the preliminary plat to a T. It's another 100 lots. And let's see, it's what, 22 acres if I remember, 22 acres. And all the engineering's being looked at right now. All the requirements from everyone, engineering and all on the plat itself have been addressed. Obviously, as usual, there will probably be some additional easements that have to go on it, because of the location of the improvements.
Are you open for questions?
Oh, any,
Yeah,
that's up to
sorry. Yeah,
that's up to the
question?
chairman, yes.
I just had a question on the, you know, there's the park impact fee. Is that because of insufficient green space?
Yes, and if they, and also it ties into depending on if they are able to contribute to a park that joins them, and we have no park that joins them. So yes, they do have to pay the $300 a lot park impact fee.
And then I noticed in the first phase, there's like a 3-acre lot right along 215th Street.
Mm-hmm.
Is that gonna be park space or community space or something?
Right along 215th.
I know that's not the phase
Remember,
we're talking about.
right, if I remember, isn't that detention?
Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't sure. I just was looking at
Yeah.
Dame's site.
Right. You really had to make me think back.
Good. Good memory.
But usually, to answer your question just a little farther, just so everyone knows, usually they do have to pay a $300 park impact fee unless they are really adjoining an area that can be used by the public or it's owned by the city.
And then I just have kind of just a general layout curiosity question. but
Sure.
On the east side of this plat, there are lots 156 through 174.
Okay.
And it looks like those lots have two streets, one in the front of the home and then one in the back of the home. So Columbia Road to the east and Gossel Street to the west on the front of those lots. Is that right? And is that
So-
normal?
No, so yes and no. that was an area that was originally slated for some sort of trail activity. And then Columbia Road lines up through there, so it's left.
So it will be a road?
Could be, but it's also county.
Okay.
Most likely what we'll end up with is hopefully a trail system that runs through there. And if you look, that's on the quarter section line.
That's Miami County
Yeah,
side,
yes.
correct?
Yeah, no,
No.
Johnson,
Johnson?
yes. Columbia runs up through from Miami County. Most people associate that with Miami County, but you are correct. And if you look on, well, you can look in the top right-hand corner and it kind of shows you your sections and all.
I
And
didn't have.
that's kind of how it was all laid out back in the day, you know, half quarter section, half sections, your lines are on, you know, and roads and this and that. So it does follow the preliminary plat though, exactly.
And this doesn't matter, this is just to show you that some people read sometimes, but on page 15, under the notary certificate, this isn't
Yeah.
irrelevant, but the word member is misspelled under the notary side, next to Josh's name. Not that anyone cares,
Oh,
but if they want to change it, they can.
whoa, somebody will care. I mean, yeah. No, that's fine. We need to make sure that
Somebody will care.
somebody probably will care.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
Someone will make a motion?
I move to recommend approval, application FP 24-5, final plat of Avondale Meadows, second plat to the Spring Hill governing body, including any conditions as presented in the staff report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve FP 24-5 with that information. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. Item 4, site application SP 24-7, Spring Hill Storage 1.
I apologize. Thank you. So we have, Spring Hill Storage One LLC has applied, for a site plan approval. This is in, Wiswell. It was part of the rezoning that, some of you will probably remember where there was a lot of discussion on whether this piece should be zoned industrial or not. And it was already a zoning that came down through there, and we had a lot of discussion on it, and finally came to the conclusion that, well, most likely along the highway, it would end up more like a country meadows. So that, I don't know if any of Josh and Cindy and all. So this, and then this was one large tract. It was around a 10-acre tract, if I remember correctly. And during the last platting of Wiswell's, they went across, they wanted to do a lot split on it. It just happened to be the timing was good, and it's always a lot cleaner and all to go ahead and plat that. So they platted this into two parcels, with this as being indicated to be on one of the parcels. So it is 324 units on 4.48 acres, around 65,000 square feet. All the lot lines, of course, are identified and all. If you look at If you've read through it, even on your back page, they had submitted a photometrics, and then we went back and asked them to change some of them to a fully shielded. So we went back through that. Although the photometrics did not indicate that was required, we were looking more at the glare from the highway and the road and all. So we went ahead and, well, we had talked to them about it and said, hey, if it's a problem when you're completed, you'll have to change it. This company just came in and said, we're just gonna change them now. You know, if you think that's gonna be something we have to do in the future, they don't want to, they wanna do it correctly or how everyone wants it. Really, the only thing left on this, and they have turned in their stormwater, and what happened on the original site plan is the stormwater calcs and all had not been completed, so if you had noticed, in the corner, be the southwest corner, I don't know if we had the original, so we replaced the revised. Okay, so the southwest corner, they had just made a tract area, but now the revise actually shows it. And engineering is now reviewing all the stormwater drainage. And like I said, the photometrics, they've already changed. Other than that, the two entrances, they had one, we've worked with them, they've been very good to work with. We put in the south entrance that will be closed all the time. Worked with the fire department, they're gonna have their Knox box stuff there and all. So it'll be easy access for the fire department to get in or any medical or anything like that. Or if the other one's blocked, whatever the situation is. Other than that, it's really pretty straightforward.
Is it gonna be the chain link?
It will be a chain link type fencing on there. I think they even showed it.
They do, but I
Yeah.
thought you talked about having the slats in it.
That's what we're here to discuss. So,
What kind of gate is it gonna have?
I have
It
no
doesn't
idea.
open.
I really don't know what the gate will be going into it. You mean the operating gate all the time? Yeah, most likely it'll be slide type of some sort, you know, automatic opener.
But it's
or
not just
something.
open like the picture.
No, it's not gonna be an open facility, that's correct. And so, if you do require or want slatting in there, then this will be something we'll have to talk about and require. Staff can't require, it has to be planning commission, so.
The entire building, it's all covered storage?
Yes, there are no open, like some of them, excuse me. Yes, and I thought it was a nice looking facility, you know, that, as far as that. And then if there are some areas that you feel that the slatting of the fences would be appropriate, you know, we can discuss it. And the owners, I believe, are here, and we can take a look at it.
Didn't we, I mean, this has been several years back, didn't we require the one on Webster Street to have sliding in their chain link?
Yeah,
So I
attic
guess-
storage was required to have.
Attic was too.
Had to
I
have
guess
that.
I'm just thinking that if we're asking for one business to do it, then it should be
Sure, I mean, that's.
the same across the board and not,
It was the same in Addicts when they did their expansion. Then the other one down on Webster and all, I mean,
that's my only thought.
Okay.
I think it's a nice looking building, everything that's been presented. I appreciate you saying they're easy to work with, but,
they've been very good to work with.
I just think if we're asking one, then we should be asking that. And that's my feelings, no matter what business it is.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Can I ask, are you talking specifically the gates on the east side?
No, slatting in your chain link fencing.
On the particular to the east side of the site?
It
where
doesn't
it's-
matter,
or
slatting.
The entire fencing?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I think we'd submitted, we had submitted an updated Schlepo drawing. I'm not sure if this one's being reflected, sorry. but the intent's to use, it's called a fortress design, where the fencing is, really just between buildings, so instead of, using the building as much as possible to minimize the amount of fencing.
I think we do have that
On
up
that one,
there,
okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, in regards to the east side of the site where the two gates are, to clarify the question, it was a lift gate, a vertical lift gate is what we intended on that
The
front.
scissor gate?
No, it's instead of a sliding one, just because of the snow and ice, just to prevent something from.
Just single lift.
Yeah, it's a
The whole
vertical
thing,
lifting
yeah.
gate.
How about the slats in the fence?
Yes, and then that would have slats on
Okay.
that.
So what we can do, we can work with them and have slatting in the fencing, so.
So just so I understand, so the buildings are gonna be essentially the barrier?
On some of it. But then,
The north and south? Or the
Well-
west side, or?
this is, it's the south, I don't think we do have the newest one in here that I can tell. Oh, no, it's on the west side. I see it here. Come on up. I see it on the photometrics. If you can look at your photometrics, so.
The update is on here, fencing to there, and then fencing here.
Right,
down.
and that's what it shows on there.
Yep.
So, what what they're asking is, you can stay up here. Around the detention pond, from corner of building to corner of building, you see the little line going around there?
Mm-hmm,
That would be fenced.
okay.
Then the north side would be fenced, and then obviously portions of your front. But actually using the buildings as the fencing for everything else, which is even a better, because you see the buildings and not the fences and all. But as far as sliding all of it, we can work with them, and I don't think there'd be any problem at all, sliding the fencing that is going to be installed.
So it would just be the southwest corner and then the north side, essentially,
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
and then the gate.
And your gated area.
Yes, here.
Okay.
It looks like you've got quite a bit
That's
of.
Webster.
Landscaping.
Yes, here. Yeah, we're working with landscape architect on that.
Right.
This is RV
Yeah.
in both stores. What's flex space?
So flex space
It's where that.
really is.
Oh, that's my fault. So originally, we had discussed, flex, meaning office warehouse.
Oh,
And then when it was sent to us, it says, well, there's not enough parking here for anything like that. Flex really is what they're saying is the bigger buildings, and there's not really any office to them.
It's a larger base.
A little fence here.
So we had,
And then the pond.
The verbiage flex is
Yes.
now gone from
Yeah.
it.
yes.
oh, okay, so it just,
So, yeah,
okay.
that was actually my fault for leaving it in the report.
So there
Okay.
is no office?
No office
gate.
warehouse, flex.
Correct.
Yeah, because, well, like I said, it would have required a lot more parking and all, and then when we discussed it, I understood that it's really not office warehouse flex.
It's a sales office for the storage.
That is, no, we're
Yeah.
talking about something totally different, where it used to be, exactly.
Somewhere.
Definition was a little different than what, after we talked about it, I was wrong.
So I've got a question on page 22 in our packet, and I'm gonna describe it, and you're gonna know what I'm describing, but there's one view with a bunch of like straight lines with squares in it. I'm wondering what that is showing.
I don't have page
I
20.
think that's a photometric, isn't it?
The very last page,
This right here?
This one.
that's probably photometrics, isn't it?
No, that's the storm one. That's the storm sewer.
Oh, storm sewer.
Okay.
The one we're looking at now?
Yes.
Right, that's the proposed storm sewer that's
Okay,
being
thanks.
reviewed by engineering right now. And down in your left-hand corner on this, that is the detention basin.
Yep. And so the detention basin will be outside of the chain link fence.
That's correct.
So So it's like a moat that the thieves will have to cross before they climb the fence.
Maybe, and well,
It's detention, so it should drain.
Correct.
yeah,
Because
That's
if
true.
it's retention, then I think.
exactly, but
Drowning.
trying to work with that
Good point.
football player that has some alligators.
Yeah.
Oh, Crockett J or whatever.
Oh, no, that's, okay.
Steel, whatever.
Bad joke, never mind.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Few of you got it.
And then, is there a landscaping plan in the packet?
The landscaping, yes, there was a landscaping plan provided in the packet, one of them there, I don't have the whole thing. And it also described the, what they were to use. Let me pull it up, I don't have it in my packet, but
And I don't,
it
I didn't
was,
see it myself. but
just a
that doesn't mean
second.
It's not there.
we'll get it pulled up for you.
That's all I saw, too.
Because I can't open it, okay. Because I've been checking them here lately, pretty close on the species, so that we don't get any of those oaks, pin oaks,
Pin oaks, Bradford pears, and ashes.
yes. But it did meet all the criteria, actually it was more than the criteria. Sorry, we have it somewhere, but I don't see it in my packet. Do you have it with you? by any chance? That's okay. We should have it in our, file, cause it was, but the problem is we can't connect apparently. So, you might have to trust me on that and I can send it back to you. You can get a little bit idea on some of the picturesque here, the landscaping. Now, it was not all just evergreens on there, so I'll have to send it to you. And then if there are some questions about it, you can just get a hold of me and we can.
But you're
work with them.
comfortable with the.
Yeah,
plan that's been
it
presented?
was fine, yes.
And I had a question about the signage. Well, let me go back to the lighting. So I really
Sure.
appreciate seeing the lighting plan and the photometrics. I also like the fact, and it was obvious to me that we're using the shielded fixtures anywhere that it might be visible from the highway or from Webster. I think that's great. There was one in the southeast corner that probably should be shielded, but I think you guys are gonna figure that out as you go. So I thought that was great. Regarding the signage, will the signage both along Webster, I assume that one will be lighted, but then my question then is on the west side facing the highway, will that be lighted?
We have shown on there, and my guess is that what they will do is some sort of either indirect light with it or lightly with a lighter, not so bright white shining directly on there.
Yep.
So
Maybe
it
not
should
white.
not, yeah, it should not affect the traffic at all.
So it's not, I know we're not talking, but the intention is not to have a self-lit sign there. It would be something that's signage that's visible during the day, and at night, maybe it'll be illuminated.
Yes, either by indirect or just some soft light on it.
Okay, and then the sign along Webster, kind of same thing?
Probably not. That probably will stay lit. You know, it's gonna be indirect, but,
Yeah,
right, so. That one would be on at any time that, you know, obviously they want it. This one here, we tried to convince them to put flashing stuff, specials and all, but they
Uh-huh.
wouldn't do it.
and the 6 feet by 4 feet seems pretty reasonable.
It's real reasonable.
Yeah,
I mean, it actually meets our sign code of just if they came in later and
Yeah.
did it.
that's great. And I'm waiting for Josh to ask about the stone.
The stone.
The plan.
Coat?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, What about it? Like a sample?
where, where it's gonna be.
There's your landscape.
Well, I mean, I was fine with what's shown in the renderings. It's
Yeah,
gonna be on
that's
all
what
the
it-
exterior facades basically around the perimeter of the site.
Yes, and that's what we talked about to them, and they have it in their renderings there.
Yeah, I appreciate providing the renderings, by the way, so. thank you
Yeah.
for doing that.
Yeah, it's a real nice presentation.
No, I had no further questions. It's been great.
There's your landscape, Chuck. And then they'll be putting some additional, low landscape covering around at the office area and all, and orchids or corchids or something, who knows, but.
So nothing on the north side, is that what I'm seeing?
The north side's gonna have a street that runs.
Oh, okay.
that's
Yeah,
entrance
that's
drive.
the
Okay.
entrance drive all through there, as you see. Overall, it's really well landscaped. When they grow big, it'll be something.
And then my last question is just for situational awareness. On the east side, which road is that into Wiswell, into the neighborhood?
That would be 192nd. Somewhere right in that area, Chuck.
Okay, so it's the,
It's the,
it's the entrance to the
phase-
first,
no,
oh,
second phase.
second phase, okay.
Yes. Yep, they're putting it in right now.
Yep, okay,
Yep.
that helps.
I think they'll be doing roll testing and all on that tomorrow or Saturday, just so you know.
Cool.
That's coming along really quickly again. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any discussion?
I got it all out.
Good? Bad? Anybody want to make a motion?
I recommend approval of application SP 24-7 site plan. Spring Hill Storage 1.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve SP 24-7, Spring Hill Storage 1. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. All right, next item is discussion. Thank you guys for coming in. You're welcome to stay, but any discussion items? I've got to report you, I'm still in discussion.
I got nothing. Well, I guess I missed the last workshop,
Oh, we know,
the comp plan, and I've been.
we missed you.
Been busy. How's
I know.
that going?
It's good, actually, we made a little progress. Patty, you wanted to discuss that?
Right, so, I have not received, or have not gotten out to you guys those density impact areas yet. Worked on them a little bit more with, some other third party on it, and what I'll do, I'll go ahead and send you out what I have. But what basically we worked on was what intersections, and we're gonna do an overlay of it, and how each one of those intersections would be high impact, medium density, and most of it has to deal with the density of it. Then the other thing that we all started doing, we're going to have 2 industrial zonings. We will have the M1, which we will change that to a more light industrial, similar to what we are seeing up on Webster Street and 183rd. And then the M2 zoning would be a higher zoning. I think that's gonna make it a lot more palatable for us to allow some industrial zoning. Because, you know, as it is now, as you realize, you get industrial zoning, it can be the little mom and pop shop, or it can be full-blown, great big
Say it.
production of something. No, I won't say it this time. So, but, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out everything that I've already written, and then you guys can take a look at it. Most of it dealt with the impact of density of the housing that would be allowed around the areas. So to give you an idea, 175th and 169, you know, all four corners of that is really high impact. So now it may not be an M2 type zoning there, but everything, you know, apartments and all that. We'll take some of the other intersections and look at it and say, okay, well, or pieces of property on corners, or just pieces of property, and say, this should really be due to, I'll just say there's a single family this side, single family this side, single family over here. Really, this needs to be a medium or low impact. And almost everything impact-wise has to do with density apartments or the zoning of it, where you would be a CO to maybe a C1 or maybe a C2. But most likely in a scenario like that, we won't see any industrial zoning. So I think it'll simplify it. It'll make our lives easier on the future land use and all, and just say, and we'll have an impact plan. So hopefully that'll work out really well for you guys. And us, not just you guys, but us as well. And it will eliminate a lot of questions. And then, you know, people fill the chambers and all and say, wait, hold on. This is already shown like that. And, you know, your developer chose to build a single family next to this. So it's now your choice of why you bought it. So, because really, I mean, you look at a lot of these and you're saying C2, I mean, you know, it can be almost right there with what we will now classify as M1. And so hopefully by saying, hey, this is only going to be a CO or a C1 impact, and we'll try and help maybe some of these subdivisions out that maybe the people don't always study where they're moving. So, and it'll cure a lot of questions for us as well, you know. So, and I know you guys are concerned and have been concerned about some of that, you know. A perfect example is where the apartments were turned down, and that's a C2 use. I mean, that's a pretty substantial use there that's going to go in behind those houses. So
I think
or
most
can.
people, when they think of commercial, they're picturing the Starbucks that they want.
That's exactly
in
what
their
I'm
house.
getting at, Chuck. You know, they really don't. You're exactly right. So what we're trying to do now is hopefully protect them from themselves. I mean, you know, seriously, and I'm not dogging anyone. It's just a lot of people just don't think about that. And then hopefully it will also eliminate a lot of, you know, problems, or not problems, but people saying, well, why are you guys letting this happen? You know, so.
No, I think it'll help if it's in the comp plan and the community can see the comp plan and they can see us using the comp plan when we make decisions. And when you're making a decision to buy a property, buy a house in a certain location, you can refer to it. And hopefully, and it's only when I think, you know, this body and the city council stray from that, where, you know, people have then a cause to be, you know, concerned. But as long as it's consistent, then that plan is sort of, you know, notice to the community that this is the roadmap.
It's crazy because most people spend more time on buying a car than they do buying their house. Checking all, it's the truth. It's was just in an article I read not very long ago. You know, they'll spend more time researching a vehicle than they will the area they're going to buy or build a house.
Pat, you mentioned a C0. Do we have a C0?
We do now, yes.
Oh, we do now?
Yes.
So what is that? Could you-
Offices.
Offices.
Yeah, and they're like dentists and things like that, hairdressers, and it's more for the residential areas.
And then, can you give me examples of what the C1 is now then?
C1 would be a little more and like a hotel or something like that. You get into the C2, and a lot of it you can have, let's say, a contractor's yard or something like that. So, it can be a more intensive use. It can also be a lot taller structures, So, I believe the C zoning, the commercial zoning, is better laid out than, oh, well, obviously, we just have one industrial zoning, so we'll get that and a little bit easier.
And then,
And it,
I was just gonna ask, on the M, can you give examples, since Troy asked you for the C, on the M1 and the M2?
there is no M2.
I know, but just of what that would be.
Right, so M1 would be more like your contractor's yards and what you see on Webster. Your M2 will be anything beyond that, dog canning food facility or
Cardinal Glass?
Cardinal Glass is a good example of it, yes. Well, almost everything in that area is a good example of an M2, in my mind, so. And then, the conditional uses, we looked at those.
I take it you're ready to move on to report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Conditional uses, we looked at those, staff reviewed them. There was a few small comments on a few things, but, it wasn't anything major. City council, that we at that meeting, we had no agenda items on the 24th. Obviously, we had the, zoning that we just looked at tonight for the preliminary plat change to an R2. Other than that, I really do not have anything else. I think that's it.
I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving.
Yep, you guys too. Thanks for your time.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Any announcements?
See you next year.
Next year?
Are you gone after December?
I hope so. I will be. I actually am gone the first week and a half of December or something, so.
You'll get me on the fifth.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
That means pizza.
No, we're doing ribs then.
February. That's right. Ribs.
Right.
And I won't even be here, so you ship them to me. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You were.
Pat?
Pat said he wanted to move forward.
I won't.